via the Biz TV app. And Deb Cole in studio for Russ T. Nails today. Russ was here. Now Russ is gone. Russ may be back for the second half of the show. Not sure. One of the bathroom doors is locked, so I'm not sure what's going on in there. But I did. So there's a Biz TV app and there's a Biz Talk Radio app that you can get for your smartphone.
So you've joined the app revolution too.
I am.
I'm
So
impressed.
if I go to my, and by the way, I have them all organized. So if I go to my little radio TV segment, and I hit Biz Talk Radio. In fact, I shouldn't hit it now because it'll start playing. There it goes. I knew it was going to start playing. So see, and this is you.
So you get it instantly.
Yeah, I get it instantly. It instantly comes on.
Wow.
And you can listen to us there. But I listen to us in the car in one city.
Yes.
But you can also catch us there. Great to have you along today. Deb Cole here, our social media expert, and we were talking about how companies need to kind of shift focus on their social media because. You know what I found too is we used to have a Big Biz Show Twitter feed that had about 30,000 followers.
Right.
And we were told by you and a couple other people, people don't follow shows, they follow personalities.
People. Correct.
So I moved that over and then we had to start over again and now we've got a big pile of followers again.
I remember you mentioning that the moment you shifted so that it was you and your face as opposed to a logo, all of a sudden you got way more interactivity, more followers.
So how do companies do that?
Yes.
Though? Because let's face it, you've got companies there
Yes.
that don't have a face.
Right.
I mean, obviously, some have a CEO or an executive chairman, like my friend Stretch Fowler, who's going to be joining us here in a minute. But let's say take 2050 Motors for example.
Right.
That's a brand that's going to be well known.
It is. So what Ford did, they put Scott Monty in charge, and everyone knew him. He would go to expos, he would go to different conferences, and so
they hire an influencer.
It absolutely. So, and you have to have that person that likes people, wants to interact. So he became the face of Ford.
Maybe 2050 needs to be the force of 2050 Motors. What do you think? Stretch Fowler in studio, executive chairman director. I have a mental block about this. He's just the boss. I just know him as the boss of 2050 Motors. Their stock symbol ETFM. They are a publicly traded company. And let's talk about this. That is their Ego car. That is their Ibis car. Both of them are electric vehicles. Both of them made out of carbon fiber. And you've heard the story here many times on the program. But I wanted to bring Stretch in because there's a couple of new things happening. But I got to talk back about some of the old stuff. Do you remember when you were here about a month ago, and you brought in a piece of carbon fiber that the car was made out of, right? And it had a couple of, I would say, not even scars on it, maybe like a tiny pockmark on it. And that was caused from what? A bullet? Is that what I understand?
Well, we had a 22 caliber pistol and we had a 38 police special.
That shot
right at it. Yeah, I think the fellows have a clip here to show you.
So,
and unbelievable how this carbon fiber held up. It was not pierced.
In fact, here it is. So here's a guy taking a shot.
38 special. And watch real closely there.
Is that the bullet that came back at him?
Yeah, that's right. The bullet came here. Watch, slow motion now. Here comes the bullet. There you go, right there. Look at that.
Bounced right off of it.
Bounced right off.
And that was the piece that you brought in here. And that's so. Tell us quickly. Give us the elevator pitch about the company again, because I think, interestingly enough, if you think about this is the first Chinese car company that will be in the U.S. It is the first carbon fiber car company, I think, in history. It's not the first electric vehicle, but it's certainly the lightest electric vehicle. So talk about all those things.
One of your guests last time I was here had a friend that had a carbon fiber hood. A lot of the teenagers have carbon fiber parts.
Right.
This is the first all carbon fiber body on an all aluminum chassis.
Right.
So the whole thing is Detroit. Everybody's cutting down on weight of cars.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber.
So, and the biggest part of this thing is not just the fact that it's lighter. It's the fact that it's safer.
Safety.
Do we have this? So if you go to 2050 Motors, I'm just a geek. I look at this a lot, frankly. It's like one of those YouTube videos when you want to show, like Deb, you talked about the cat videos. This is my version of a cat video. I've shown this video. I personally have shown this video at least 50 times, not even on television, just to my friends. Take a look at this slow motion crash. This was done in China in their manufacturing facility. This is slow motion, obviously, but this car is going 35 miles an hour. Now watch what happens to the car. Hits a freaking brick wall, boom. Lifts off the ground, look at the front of the car, crashes in, and then all of a sudden it pops back into shape. Play that one more time, guys, and I'll let Stretch describe it. But what's amazing here is normally after you see these crash tests, you see the impact zone, right? Or is that what they call it, the impact zone?
That's right.
And look at this car. It looks the same now as it does 3, 2, 1. it still looks the same.
The airbag deployed there, Sully, and we had no airbag in front of the passenger. So at 35 miles an hour, all the measurements, passengers survived also.
So keep this up there for a second, guys. Now, this is a picture, and obviously it looks pretty beat up, but there is no damage.
No.
You pop that back into shape, and you just repaint it.
No crumpling at
There's
all.
no, I mean, if you look, I mean, you see some of the, it's white paint, see some of the black marks? That's just black paint that chipped off because the thing was malleable, basically, into a brick wall. So that brings up safety, okay?
Absolutely.
So so if you think in terms of I think in terms of, when I look at a smart car, which I think is where we're going, I think I'm going to die. I'm going to get in that thing, and somebody's going to, I mean, I'm going to hit a bulldog, and I'm going to die.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to freaking hit a speed bump, and that thing's going to roll. This is a completely different story here. So suddenly you've got efficiency and you've got safety at the same time, right?
That's absolutely right.
Let's talk about that just for one more second, because you also have efficiency with respect to how light this thing is. So you've got safety and you have strength and durability. But give me an example, because you have a fact about Tesla versus you guys. And I can't remember exactly how to say this. I'm going to let you do it. But your Ego vehicle is so light. How does that compare to Tesla?
First of all, nice to meet you, Deb.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Isn't it nice to meet Deb every time? Everyone says that.
This is the first little car that I would consider getting into.
Because of the safety thing?
Yeah, the safety.
What a
Absolutely.
What do you think?
reaction.
How do you think it looks? Do you think it looks good?
It's cute.
Wait till you see after the break what they got coming. But
first-
continue with your.
Okay, so basically, why in Las Vegas? 2 million people captured.
Okay.
The average mileage a day that a family of 3 or 4 drive, 50 miles.
Right.
School, work,
Right.
shopping.
Right.
That's it. School, work.
Sure.
So this is the work car.
Okay.
Okay. Pick up the SUV, travel 500 miles, no
Right.
problem. But this one here, if I was my 2 little children, my 15-year-old daughter, I want her to drive this car.
Sure.
Okay, that's the whole game. And your reaction was fantastic. Thank you. It was wonderful.
Because the Big Biz show.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
it.
It's the Big
You
Biz
feel
Yeah,
safe
of
to
course.
step into it.
Exactly what does this. Just
One of our next features coming up is Sully has done a series with us, and we certainly appreciate that. We're going to have a smart car, have our 2 Egos side by side. They'll really get a comparison.
So the 2 Egos side by side, I mean the new one, which we're going to show you after the break. But before we get to that part, talk about the manufacturing facility and talk about the model, because it's the Toyota business model, right?
That's exactly right.
What
So-
is the Toyota business model?
Well, the business model is, the fact is that yes, we have a $100 million factory in Yangtze province in China that will make these cars, no problem, okay? China being very careful now because they know they want to be the largest, and they have to be on this time. This cannot be made in China stuff. No. This has to be a real deal. So that's why they're putting this company through loops now. Their own,
So this the quality factors, the perception
Big.
issue is going to have to be
Huge.
pretty big here in the States.
and all the safety factors. This is the finest testing facility in China that where you saw that.
Now,
test
will
right
the
there.
will the DOT, the Department of Transportation recognize this? The National Highway Safety.
A lot of the testing protocol will be recognized, yes, but they have their own quality, card catalog. But we have all the engineers set up to do exactly what will pass.
So when you bring this, by the way, they're not bringing fully built cars, and this is a Toyota model. They're bringing parts over and assembling them here.
well, to start,
It's cheaper
Sully,
that way,
Sully,
right?
we've already tested the market. We had the opening. You saw the Ibis in Vegas.
Sure.
Terrific reaction for that car. And then that's the black one. That's the larger sedan touring car. The reaction, the same thing. Sat in that car. Rusty sat in it, slammed it in the Ego like a Mercedes, like a Bentley. I mean, it's just so compact.
yeah.
Again, your reaction without even touching it,
Right.
just looking at it.
So
It looks
watch.
safe.
The minute we come back from the break, what you're going to see is you're going to see Joe LaStella, their chief engineer, who's a rock star engineer in this country, who happens to be the chief engineer for 2050 Motors. He's going to have a sledgehammer in his hand, and he's beating the hell out of an F350 pickup, and you see what it does to the body. It caves in. And right after that, in slow motion, you're going to see Joe beating the hell out of an Ego, the little car you just saw crash test, with a mallet, and you're going to see what happens. We're going to do that when we're coming back from the break. In the meantime, though, I want you to tell us about that facility real quick. How much money do they spend on that manufacturing facility?
Okay,
in-
so
in
that's
San
$100
Diego?
million.
Yeah.
They have a capacity to build 22,000 cars a year. Big facility.
Yeah.
They're already starting the facilities additional to that, Sully, 100,000 units a year. So with the new styles that I brought today
Yeah.
to show you, they want to Americanize it for us. Because the other car was more European, and I think you all saw that. Even
Sure.
though it's a small,
Right.
compact car, it's
Right.
not a smart car. It can zip down the aisles and so forth. This next one, of course, I like your reaction to see the next two here, because the facility is all set up because the chassis is the same. All they're going to do is bring in the component parts and build on top of the chassis.
So 3 things are going to come up here if we get back from break. Number 1, you're going to see the chief engineer, who really is a rock star engineer in this country, Joe LaStella, is going to be beating the crap out of a F-350 and see what it does to that car versus their car. Also, we got some news about a big amount of money these guys just raised. We'll talk about that. And then you're going to see Deb's reaction to the sexiest EV on the planet coming up. Big Biz Show, stand by. The bathroom, I'm hearing sounds in there. Deb Cole, in the meantime, filling in for Rusty Nails. Coach Deb is our social media expert. We're great to have her. So grateful to have her back in studio with us. Go to CoachDeb.tv. Now, do we have you follow you at Coach Deb on? Where do you? I mean, I tell people to tell people to follow me on Twitter, but
Twitter's
I should maybe.
Great. No,
should I be Snapchatting?
You should be Snapchatting, but I
instead of Twitter.
Both.
Just go ahead and say it.
Both.
I don't have time for all.
All right, so
will
Snapchat.
will Hootsuite let me Snapchat too?
I believe. I haven't used Hootsuite.
Hootsuite's great.
I know you love Hootsuite.
Because I can do it all one time.
Yes.
Boom, done.
It's
just
efficient.
poops it out there the
Yep.
whole world. I don't really do it
Instagram.
myself, by the way.
I
You
do
can
that with
you can
Instagram.
tell the ones I'm doing. You can tell when it's me, can't you? On social
Maybe.
media, and you can
I
tell
can
when it's
admit
somebody
that.
else. Yes.
Maybe,
You can
perhaps.
tell when it's me that does it.
It's your show. I'm
'cause
not
I
going to
don't
insult
really
you.
do it. You can totally tell when the lame crap comes out. It's coming
But
from me.
that's good. That's the authenticity that is missing.
Well, the network handles a
in
lot of it,
Twitter.
and the producers handle a lot of
Right.
this stuff.
Right.
And when it's me, you can tell.
It's
who it
raw.
is.
Maybe that's what's better.
2050 Motors is in studio. Stretch Fowler is with us, and of course, you're very familiar with Stretch. I have to say a couple of things here. First of all, we talked about the carbon fiber vehicle. This is the EV, electric vehicle, that's made out of carbon fiber, manufactured in China, assembled here in the U.S. They just raised a big chunk of money. Talk about that, Stretch.
Well, the chunk of money is for an assembly plant.
Okay.
So right now, all the authorities in Las Vegas have been very cooperative to have the incentive programs in place. And of course, this foreign trade zone I just started to mention to Deb is a terrific, unbelievable opportunity because you bring trade-free in without taxation.
Sure.
You then have enough savings there to pay the labor, so you really have cost savings, which again is what everybody's concerned about.
Right.
So if you start with the safety and you go down to the cost, or you go up to wherever it is to put that together, we will have the costless,
Most cost effective.
most cost-effective car, safe car in America.
So how much money did you guys raise for this thing?
So far, we're probably in the 20 million range.
Wow. But you just did a press release last week about 10 of that, right?
That's right.
Wow.
That's
10
right.
million bucks. So and that was a private deal, right?
Private
All right.
deal.
So if you want to take a look at that press release, just go to ETFM. Their stock symbol, go to 2050motors.com. Now, a couple new developments. We have a demo tape with Joe LaStella, this rock star engineer who happens to be the chief engineer for 2050 Motors. This is to demonstrate the strength and the flexibility of the carbon fiber.
Another
ego.
test.
All right,
Another test for the women.
Watch this and talk about this, Stretch, a little bit.
There, look at that, Deb. Look at that.
He's smacking the hell out of a 350, and the owner comes out shortly after this, which is the best part about it. And this is it's like. No, that's not. Was that his truck, by the way?
No.
He's just a friend of yours.
That was his son's truck.
His son's truck.
His
okay.
son's out of
But
town.
look at this. Watch this. It's amazing. He's hitting this with even more force.
Yeah, his son's out of town. So.
He's hitting this with more force than he had the other. And look at this. It just
Absolutely right.
bounces off.
Wow.
And you saw the crash test with it. Just there he goes again. That's his son yelling at him. That was his son in the background yelling at him. So that's pretty significant. Talking about the strength and the safety of that car, right, Stretch?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The other part of this, and this is for Deb, because while we're here, I do want to talk about social media. I want you to give him advice because now you know what this thing is. But check out, so these cars, look at the website, 2050motors.com. You'll see the red Ego and the black Ibis, okay?
That's
These cars, the design of these cars, by the way, are Italian design, okay? This is why they look so great. You've seen, Russ has done an interview with them in the back of this, and there you go. That looks like any luxury car you see in the U.S.
Right.
Now, there's a version 2.0 of that red car right there, isn't there?
Absolutely right.
And what's it called?
That one at this point in time is unnamed because they're putting together again, it may be an Asian name, but we may come up with what, and I think branding is very important. So yes, we'll have a lot to say about the name of the car.
So the Chinese manufacturing companies right now coming up, and this is not just a concept vehicle. This is the next version, right?
The molds are being made. Exactly right.
Check this out. Look
There
at
you
that
go,
car, Deb. Would you ride that?
First
I
impression.
totally
Your
would.
First impression.
That looks like a futuristic car.
Now that's an Italian design as
Now
well.
that's a sexy car.
And just imagine a door cut there, Deb, and Sully, because that's going to be a 4-door car.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
5-place, 5-passenger,
Think it has
Wow.
Wi-Fi in there?
trunk room.
My car has Wi-Fi. You know that's going to have everything you need on there. Hey, before we let you out of here today, Stretch, I got to ask you this. As far look, I'm putting you on the spot here. You don't even know this is coming, but you already know that I'm an idiot when it comes to social media because I've admitted it on the air. Okay. Deb knows, who's known me for what, 6 years or better?
Yeah.
Knows I'm an idiot with social media. I figure I got a microphone, a TV camera, and a website. What else do I need? What would you tell a company like this, who's coming into this country with perhaps one of the most robust technologies, pressing all the right buttons, environmental button, economic button, safety button, the whole thing? How do they get there? Should they be getting their word out via social media? When does that happen? Because the car is going to be introduced for sale sometime next year.
Right. Couple things. Well, there's probably a dozen things, but a couple for now on the
Yeah.
air. One, I would make sure you have a sexy name and you brand your car. And then when you get here, do a social media campaign where you put it in the hands of young people that are just getting their license, right? Their parents are worried that they're going to be out there in a new car. My car was a very small Volkswagen Bug, and my dad was like, I want you to have a big tank. So this is kind of one of those things. And then put it in the hands of videographers that are younger and have them do a whole video, like put that install the video in the car they're driving, they're having fun, but it gets it out there in a fun way.
And this is
then
outside
put
of
a
regular
cap.
putting advertisements on.
Exactly.
This is the free stuff.
Yes, this is the free stuff. Where
Have you ever
kids
have you
will do your social
guys
media
thought about? Because I
course. I mean,
I don't ever think about this stuff.
The car club, Montebello. I mean, they, all the Hispanics, they love it. Okay, the
Yeah, the
Asian
Montebello,
people.
the Montebello Car Club, right? So, but here's my question for you: is that if you think in terms of non-traditional advertising,
Yes.
there's no better non-traditional advertising than free advertising. Stretch, thank you so much. I appreciate it once again. Stretch Fowler, 2050 Motors, 2050motors.com. And of course, their stock symbol ETFM. If you take a look at them online, you can see all those videos. I'm assuming are online that we just showed there, Stretch. Was that
Always, that's right.
everyone?
That's right. Sorry.
But thanks, man. He'll be back with us next week because we have a big surprise for you. I brought up the smart car. This has inspired Stretch to put the two cars next to each other with a smart car in the middle to tell you how unsafe this smart car is. Thank you, Stretch. Appreciate that. All right, there you go. Social media expert Deb Cole. Thanks, Deb. Appreciate your help on that. What do you think? You think that's going to take? I think that'll be the next thing.
I think
Could you imagine if millennials got a hold of that?
Yeah, definitely. And they need to just brand it with a sexy name.
Exactly.
Like, what is it? It's not a smart car.
That's
It's a safe
exactly
car.
right. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Sully on the Air until I figure out a Snapchat name. See you in a minute.